I'm currently in Georgia at Indian Springs State Park, and not like New York, you can fly in the state park as long as you're following drone rules. So as long as you're following them, you're not going to have any problems. Of course, remember, if you're going to be putting this up or making money off of it, you've got to have your license. So other than that, I'm going to go chase my parents. They're out on kayaks right now. So I'm going to follow them. See the wind, probably about 15 miles an hour. I'm probably going to get a wind warning. I've already checked my fly and I got no issues in the area. Let's get this in the air.
Those are my nephews behind me playing frisbee. Christopher's on my right and Jacob is on my left. I'm trying to get my DJI goggles set. It's rather windy out. It's, I figure, probably 15-mile-an-hour winds. Okay, let's go to altitude. Just a little bit of history about Indian Springs State Park. Been used for generations because of the flowing mineral water. Some claim it has homeopathic qualities, and the water sometimes smells like sulfur. My first time there was at the age of 12 when my folks moved to Georgia from Massachusetts. And we used to go there to swim all the time. It looks like the beach now is no longer used, probably because of liability issues, but it was great when I was younger. Folks would take us there just about every weekend. The Indian Springs were basically Indian use. The lower creeks, basically, it was treated from the Indians back in 1821, and then the government was able to turn it into a state park. And the chief back then was William McIntosh, chief of considered the lower creeks.
Flight tracking mode. I want that one. I'm not ready for head tracking mode. Oh, geez.
Following McIntosh's death, the Creeks, still under significant pressure, were forced to come to a compromise with the United States officials and sign a treaty of Washington in 1826, as their former Creek lands were added to the growing state of Georgia. One of the outcomes was the establishment of lots around the springs. Georgia government set aside Lot 1, the area around the springs, to be held as public recreation area, thus making Indian Springs the oldest owned recreational area in the country. Through these early days, the community around Indian Springs grew with the coming railroad and public access that brought visitors from all over the country. Resort hotels sprang up in the mid-1800s through the 1900s. A variety of hotels, some as large as 700 rooms, graced the area known as McIntosh. And later, Lovilla. Of course, thousands flocked to the area, and the tourist industry thrived until changing economy conditions and other factors brought it to the end. In the Gilded Age, many of the hotels had burned, fell into disuse, and were torn down by the 20s. 27, just 2 years prior to the stock market collapse, state of Georgia officially named the property Indian Springs State Park, making it Georgia's oldest state park. And the difficulty of the Depression gave rise to President Roosevelt's New Deal and the origin of Civilian Conservation Corps. Company 459 came to Indian Springs, and CCC boys built stone construction, which still graces the lands around the springs. The CC boys are largely responsible for providing the infrastructure on which the modern park is built. And as you'll see in a minute here, you'll see the great big recreation hall that they built just above what was the swimming areas. And I got all that information from GeorgiaStateParks.org. It's conveniently located near I-75 in mid-Georgia, which is where I was raised from the age of 12 to 19 when I went in the Navy. The park, let's see. Get reservations. It's a 528-acre park. It's a 105-acre lake. It's got 10 cottages, 62 tent trailer and RV campsite. Idlewild Event Center, which is what you're going to see sitting on top. There it is right there. 500 seats. Five picnic shelters. One group shelter holding 130 people. One stone pavilion seats 130. Call on those for reservations. There's the swimming area, and I don't think they use it anymore. A Pioneer Campground, museum, ramp boat, and playground. Okay, we'll pause here. Click on the link for part 2.